up guys, Souls Gaming here, and welcome back to another brand new tutorial. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to keep it real quick and real simple. Today I'm going to be explaining Z layers. Now, to this day, some people still don't know how to use the layering option in Geometry Dash, so in this tutorial I'll be showing you guys how to work it out, because there's what am I talking about? Z layers are layers that are used to make custom backgrounds, foregrounds, etc., so on and so forth, so you can actually put objects on top of objects. And I'm also going to get in a little bit in depth in how blending works in conjunction with layering. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So with layering, onions have layers, alright? And so does Geometry Dash. So I'm going to be showing you what objects will be on top of others. So let's go ahead and start off with putting this simple block right here down, right? And once we have that block, selected, we go into Edit Group. Now, this is where the Z layering begins. Now, with Editor Layer, what this means is what layer that object is going to be, such as if you click on this arrow right here, that's what the layer it will go to, right? But if you want this certain object in multiple layers that you can organize your level in, what you can do is go back to Edit Group and use Editor Layer 2. Now what Editor Layer 2 does is that once you put this block in a certain group or a layer group, that is where the object will appear, so you will be able to select it. So for example, right now this object is in Editor Layer 1, right? So if I go make this number right here, number 1, it will pop up so I can actually select this object. So if I go to like layer 2, I will not be able to select this object because it is on a different layer. However, if I go to layer 4, I am able to select it because I put that object in editor layer 2, number 4. This way you can organize your levels more efficiently. Say if you want a certain piece of art in more than one layer, this is how you were able to do it. Now we're going to go on to the next one, which is Z layer. Now what is Z order? What Z order does, it allows you to stack objects on top of each other. So for example, let's go ahead and make a quick little rainbow. Alright, so right now we have a nice little rainbow strip right here with non-blending blocks, and all these colors are their own individual groups, but that's not important. What we're looking at is the layering. So right now, what these blocks are initially on, these color blocks right here, their main point of layering is going to be Z order -7. So any order object that is on the same layer, or the same Z layer, which is right now currently B2, if anything is below this, then that object will be below that certain object. Now, if there's a higher number, for example, if it's on -6, then that object will appear on top of this block. However, there is a bug for if you have the same object that's not blending but on the same Z layer and same Z order, it will not be consistent of which one will be on top, because sometimes one object will be on top than the other one, and it's a bug, so you have to make sure you have it organized in the right place. Therefore, you won't be messing up the layering of the object that you want on top constantly. So like for example, if I put this block right here, let's pick a random block. Say I want to put a saw on top of this red block right here, but I have it on B2 -7, right? What it will start off as is this. It will start off on top. However, if I keep playing the level over and over again, eventually this red block will end up on top of the saw, and I don't want that. I always want the black saw on the top of it. So what I have to do is, let's go ahead and put this back on the layer that's supposed to be. We gotta select this black saw right here. Go to Edit Group and make sure it's always on top. And also, if it's blending, we'll get to it in a minute. But if the object is blending, no matter what, it will always fall under the non-blending object. I'll show you that in a minute, but right now I just wanted to show you guys how the black saw will always be on top if it's on Z order number 6, Z order number -6, and on the same layer as the object. This also works if, say I have this on -8, right? And on this is on B2 -7, right? say I want this on, I still want this on top, but I want it to keep the same number, right? What you have to do is you have to go onto these other Z layers. For example, you have to go B1, T1, T2, and T3. T3 is the highest object Z layer that you can possibly have until, you know, future updates. But for right now, T3 is the highest and B4 is the lowest. Now with T3, this is the object that will always be on top even if it's blending, unless there's a non-blending object on top of that blending object. So for example, say let's go back to what I said before. If I wanted this block saw to keep its Z order as -7, but I want it on top of this rainbow strip, I would have to put this on a higher Z layer than what the object is on. So like I said before, this object right here is on B2. Now, if I want this on top, I have to put it on B1, T1, T2, or T3. That way, it'll always stay on top. However, if I put it in B3 or B4, it will end up below the object. Now we're going to get into blending. Now, if this object was blending, let's just pick a random color. Let's go with this one. Let's get color 4 and make it blending, right? If it's blending and you have it on the same layer, even if you have it on top, it will still come below it. Because with the blending object, it's basically trying to blend in with all the colors that are on the background and with the colors that it's fusing with. Now with a non-blending object, it's not going to blend with the blending objects because, you know, it's not blending, obviously. So it's going to end up layering over the blending object. So since this saw is blending and it's on the same layer, regardless of how high I put this up, it will never go above this unless, you know, a future update says otherwise. However, if I want this to stay blending and be on top of this, what I'm going to have to do is I have to put this on B1, T1, T2, or T3. That way, the blending object will stay on top of the non-blending object. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all Z layer is about. It's all about putting objects on top of objects or below them. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, and this has been Souls Gaming, and I will see you guys next time. Later!